Alright, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to speak about how empaths have an abandonment issue which date back in their early childhood. I will also give you few healing practices which could help you in your healing journey. So let's get started. So, empaths can sense energies and other people's emotions very quickly. Now, this happens because in early childhood, there has been a sense of betrayal or somebody breaks your trust as a child. And when you're in your early childhood days, maybe 4 years old, 3 years old, maybe just a baby, you do not know what to do because you are physically incapable of taking care of yourself. You do not know how this world works. You need to have your basic needs met. That is, you need to eat, you need to have clothes, you need to have a home or a safe space. And you cannot go to work, earn money, or do all sorts of things to do that. So you still have to survive. So what your body or your energy system does, it heightens your intuition or your third eye or your root chakra, and it senses other people's energy at a very elevated rate, and it sees, oh, what does that person want or need, and you start giving that person that exactly what they want. And that's where your people pleasing behavior tends to begin. That's the origin story of how you developed that habit. Now, as a child, it was so useful, right? Because you could sense what other people need, how they feel, are they angry or are they not? And so you could tap into that emotional state and act accordingly. And then they would give you food, they would give you water, they would give you new clothes, they would keep you in their house safely, protect you from other people. But as you grow up into your adult life, in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you still have that pattern ingrained in your brain when you are in your work and when you are in your relationships. When you don't get your core basic needs met, your muscle memory kicks in and says, hey, look at what that person wants. What are his needs? How is he feeling right now? Read it energetically and give them that thing. And then expect to get something in return that would satisfy your basic needs. That could be love, that could be money, that could be career, that could be anything. But that doesn't work. You start becoming a people pleaser in your adult life because you were abandoned in your childhood and you unfortunately had to use the only technique of sensing other people's energy. The second sign that you might have been abandoned during your early childhood was you really play it small in life. You do not want to upset anybody else, especially the caretakers or the people in power or authority over you. As a child, you might have noticed that even though if you have a gift, you just sit quietly and don't use that gift very much, because that might mean that your caretaker, your guardian, parent, people who are responsible for your life might get upset in terms of they need to take more care of you, more responsibility, or you they might feel small, they might feel inadequate, that a child can do better things than them. So you just started shutting down your gifts. It could be speaking, it could be dancing, it could be in terms of using technology, it could be anything. So you realize that instead of annoying these people, which would mean that you have a risk of being abandoned again, which means that you might not have food to eat, you might not have clothes to wear, you might not have a house, you could potentially die. There was a high chance of risk involved over there. So you did the best thing that you could, and you played it small, you played it safe. But again, that's the second behavior that gets carried on in your adult life, and you still played small in your university, in your work, in your marriages, in your relationships. You are in a conversation with people where you know so much about the topic, but you just don't speak it because you might hurt other people's energy, other people's emotions. You're still in that childhood mindset where you think that if I upset this person, he's going to walk away and I'm not going to be able to be alive. I'm not going to get food, water, shelter, clothes. But that has changed. Now you're an adult. You can take care of yourself to some extent. Even if you are not fully confident in your abilities, you still can feed yourself, you still can cook your meal, you still can earn some money. Maybe not in the best way, but you still can. So this is the second sign where you play small, and it needs to really you need to be aware of this fact that you're still playing small. The third sign is you constantly have this feeling of fear and living from a place of survival mode. Now, I have this personally. I have tremendous issues with the smallest things where people just take it so casually. I have to think about it 1,000 times. It leads me to overthinking, over planning, being panicking, having backup plans after backup plans. And it's really draining because I feel that I cannot trust anybody, and people will always abandon me no matter what I do. And it all stems back from those early childhood experiences where you were actually abandoned, you were actually left behind, and there was a serious threat to your survival. You could have not made it to your adult life. And that's why you develop these coping mechanisms which give you that superpower as an empath. But instead of serving you in your adult life, it acts as an hindrance, because now you can really do those basic things like preparing a meal, cooking for yourself, buying clothes, finding a house. Even if it's not a good one, you can still do it. You can still have those basic needs met for yourself. But your muscle memory does not remember that. Your muscle memory remembers you as a child doing the things of people pleasing, playing it small, living in survival state. Those things actually helped you back then. So it assumes that it will help you in your adult life as well, but it doesn't. So now we'll move on to the next part of the video where I share what you can actually do about it. So the first thing to do is actually accept the facts that you have been abandoned and face those fears when they come up. It might come up at any time during the day. You might get triggered after a breakup, or after you lose a job, or literally any time of the day something happens in your life, and that feeling of I need to please someone, I need to play it small, or I need to survive. Those kind of emotions come up. That's where you need to actually face them now, because now you're no longer a 10-year-old or 3-year-old child. You are an adult. You can face it. You have the power. You have the intellectual capacity. You have the physical body to move around and fix that problem. So number one is face your fears and stop using coping mechanisms. Usually when those emotions come up, we tend to numb those emotions by either eating junk food, eating too much sugar, or doing some sort of other activities which distract our focus from that pain temporarily, and we just ignore the pain. We don't want to face the pain again because it is too painful. Now, why do I say that you need to face your fears? Because your body is smart. Whenever that fear comes up, it actually works on it in some way, in a way which I cannot understand. And if you give it enough time, enough months, that your body will process that emotion, that pain, and it will subside over a course of a year or few months sometimes. And it's truly something magical that I have no words how it works, but it does work. The second thing that you can do to heal from your abandonment issues is become self-reliant. Now, what I mean by that is, whenever you are in a relationship, in a work environment where you are interacting with human beings, always trust yourself that you are the last point of contact. You can handle everything. If everything goes away, if everyone goes from your life, you still can function as a normal individual adult. You still can get your needs met. You still can survive. You will still be okay. It's sad to know that most of our modern day relationships and friendships are a kind of exchange. Like, we get into relationships for reasons that, hey, I want that from you. I want to feel safe. I want to feel loved. I want to feel cared. I want to feel nurtured, or I want to feel happy around friendships, around people. I want to feel validated. We keep it all outside ourselves, and we think that if we have this relationship with that person or have this friendship, we will get that from them. So initially, in your initial interactions with human beings, you might get a micro dose of these external validation, but when they walk away from your life, that's when your abandonment issues and all the trauma comes back and hits you on your face. That's when you realize that they were never the solution. The solution is always within you. You have to give yourself all the feelings, all the validation, all the emotions that you're looking for in the outside. You have to give it to yourself. And that's why you need to be self-reliant. The third step that would help you in your healing journey is practice detachment from people, things, and this world. The very fact that we are attached so much to the things or the people in our lives, and when they decide to move out or move out of the relationship, friendship, or something happens that we lose that person, that's when it hits us the most. That's when we realize how dependent, how attached we were to having that person or that feeling in our life. That's why it's so important to not attach ourselves to things and places, because the external world will constantly change. They will leave, they will walk away for a million different reasons, and you almost have no control over it. You might have found a relationship which was working for you for the last 20-30 years, and suddenly you decide to walk away. That will hurt if you're very attached to that person, which is normal in a way, but always practice being detached from everybody and everything. That will give you a healthy sense of yourself, and you will feel more empowered and more strong in yourself. And the last tip to help you in this healing journey is always find ways to nourish yourself. Nourish yourself through the food you eat, through the books you read, through the people that you interact, through the conversations you have, to your daily meditative practices. Prioritize self-care in whatever way it suits you, and nourish your emotions. Nourish your emotions, body, and feelings. Nourish your spirit, nourish your soul. And whatever it takes to do that, it might be very simple practices, but by doing that, you will start to fill your own cup rather than expecting somebody else to come and solve your problems. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and until next time, walk in faith.